Nick, yesterday, co-star Phil Mobley, I don't know if you know Phil or not. He does a lot of analytics for them, but he made a couple of statements that I thought were really interesting. He said his economic forecast shows that office user growth is only going to increase at 0.4% per year for the next 8 years, which seemed to be pretty low. And then he said, which I think a more interesting stat, that for 2023 to date, real estate transactions have increased by 7%, but the amount of space leased is down 22%. The question is, do you think that we're going to see negative absorption in office space through the decade? In other words, more space being vacated than leased to tenants in aggregate?
Yeah, so probably yes. There's a quote that I think is attributed to Dror Poleg. I'm not sure who, but we hit peak office space. We probably hit peak office space in the US in maybe 2020, 21, 22. The reason it isn't 2020 is projects start and they take a couple of years to end. So it's like turning an oil tanker. But right now, I've amazed if anyone is breaking ground on new office developments, or very little. So a few, but these things have kind of, so as an economist, we know that in markets where there's way too much supply and not enough demand, prices drop and eventually the market clears at a lower price. And the office market is, it's like any market. So I saw some predictions from JLL. I was actually up in San Francisco yesterday for a big event on, the Doom Loop. The thought there is, and I think it's generally true for the office market, it's going to be pretty bad for the next few years. At some point it will clear. It's not going to clear because people return to the office. It will because demand is rising. It's going to clear because office construction slows down. Some stuff gets converted, some gets scrapped. And in the long run, the supply of office space will slowly shrink down to meet demand. So right now, it's kind of being saved a bit because even though footfall is down 50%, use is only down about 20%. Why is use not down more? The reason is most of that footfall is happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's kind of hard to cut space if people are only in the office typically 3 days a week. But eventually, firms are going to get a bit smarter about scheduling use. More people are going to shift slowly to remote. So the office market is not a meltdown, but certainly I wouldn't be building new offices. And I think the total square footage supplied is going to be it's either going to be flat, which, it's not good news in an economy that's growing. The US is growing, population is growing, GDP is growing. So office would normally grow with that. If it's flat, that's, a shrinking share of GDP. If anything, it's not even flat, it's actually declining.